Well, now, interesting. YouTube Live. This is an interesting angle. I feel like I'm looking down on everyone here. So this is a bit of an impromptu little kind of live on YouTube. I've not used YouTube Live before. I've only really used Instagram Live. So this is a new one for me, and I'm not expecting anybody to be on here. So if anyone does join in, then fantastic. If not, that's fine too. I'm just going to try some different camera angles here so I don't feel like I'm lording over everybody. That's better, right? Like, we're more on the same level here. Fantastic. Okay, so hello, welcome to Die Rollin. I'm the ever excitable Adam, and today I'm just going to be talking about 10 little stocking fillers that you can get or try to source to put into somebody's stocking this year. I mean, it's December. It's not long until a jolly fat man will come down your chimney and empty a sack in your living room, which is fantastic for some people and not fantastic for others. Hello, Stephen Adams. So I'm going to rattle off 10 games. So you don't have to really. So let's go for it. So the first game is a game I don't actually have physically with me at the moment. It is a game called Gladiator Road to Rome. It's by Banks Games. This is a small card game where you are basically opponents in a gladiatorial ring. You choose a set of weapons, so it could be like a gladius and a shield, or it can be a spear and a shield. It could be like fists and stuff. And yeah, basically you're going to be playing those cards, rolling dice, and trying to achieve the set kind of skill value on those cards. And then you're basically going to be killing the other people. And it is vicious. It is bloody. It is gory. It's going to be on Die Rolling in the not too distant future. We're just waiting for Alex to pop round my abode so that we can do a little intro outro video for that. We've already filmed it. He kicked my ass, and I had fun having my ass kicked. So that's high praise indeed from me. So the first game out of the 10, and they're not in any particular order. None of these games I'll be like, oh, this over this. These are just 10 games that I'm aware of that I have or have on my person at some point that I would recommend. Gladiator Road to Rome. Alex played that. He took that with him. He enjoyed it that much. Otherwise, I'd have a copy here to go. This game. I'll try to put some comments below to tell you how to get these games as well, just to help out. So that's the first game, and I'm saying that first because I don't have a physical copy, and I just wanted you guys to, before I forget about it, know what it is. Okay, so what are we going to do next? So all my games are kind of scattered around here. I did an Instagram Live earlier, which I covered all of these off, but I thought, you know what, let's do YouTube Live as well. Let's cover all bases. Let's do this, guys. Why not? So with that in mind, I'm going to go to the next one. Hey, Julie. So the next game I would recommend for a stocking to slip, a present to slip into somebody's stocking, would be The Mind. So this game, if you don't know it, firstly, where have you been? Second of all, I highly recommend this. Now, looking at the camera, I'm fairly certain that I'm in mirror world here, so you can't really read that properly. But this is called The Mind. You're going to be playing as a team to try to basically like meld minds with everyone at the table. You're trying to get on the same level as everybody, and you're going to do that for a very simple way. So you've got a stack of cards in here, a deck of cards, which are basically numbered 01 to 100. And the idea is you have 12 different rounds that you're trying to get through. And what you have to do on each round, you have to place the cards in numerical order, going from lowest to highest. Sounds boring, sounds dull, sounds super easy, but it's none of those things. I'm not married. Fantastic. That's great. So what makes this interesting is, so let's talk about round one. Round one, let's say there's 4 people at the table. We all take one card, and nobody else knows what that card is, and it could be a number from 01 to 100. Now, normally it'd be very easy to just put those cards down in numerical order because you just communicate with each other and say, well, I've got card number 5, guys, I'll put my card down. You got 10, Sven? Put it down. You got 11, Helen? Put 11 down. You got 100, a name that rhymes with 100? Put it down. Yeah, so that would be pretty easy and it'd be pretty dull. But in The Mind, you don't get to talk. So you're literally sitting there with your card that is 50, and you've got to make sure that you don't put your card down before somebody who's got a lower numbered card. Don't know if I'm explaining this very well. You have 3 lives. The first round, you just have 1 card. When you get to round 7, you have 7 cards. So every round, you have that many cards to deal with. This is a great game to play with the family. It's a great game to play on lunch at work. It's just generally a really well thought out game. You're trying to be on the same wavelength as everyone at your table and hopefully achieve it together, getting through to the very last round. Now, I've done this with my wife, and I've only got to, I think, level 7. So I don't know how compatible we are in that regard. So we're very compatible. But yeah, that is the Mind. This is readily available. You can get this pretty much anywhere. Any board game cafe worth its salt will have a version of this. So yeah, pick it up, play it, learn it, teach it, gift it. It is fantastic. Highly recommend the Mind. Christmas time, I don't know what it's like around your house, but a lot of families love quizzes at Christmas. You know, you get to Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day or whatever day, depending on where you live in the world. And yeah, you're like, well, you know, we want to play board games together. We want to do something as a family. You know, pull Grandad off the sofa, get Uncle Alan out of the kitchen, and let's sit around the table and play something. Now, Julie, you mentioned you suck at quizzes, and this means this game might be for you, because unless I am playing a quiz which is specifically to one of 3 subjects, I am screwed. The first subject being movies, the second subject being board games, the third subject being video games. If it's not one of those 3 things, I'm pretty fucked. So this is where Shot in the Dark comes in. So Shot in the Dark is a really interesting game where basically it's a quiz leveler. So all these questions are so obscure, so bizarre, or just really random that there is a high chance that nobody at the table actually knows the answer to this game, to this quiz question. I'm a tired guy. So, for instance, here's 3 questions on the back of these. I'll just give you an example. So, if you know the answer, fantastic. But if you don't, you're on the same level as pretty much everybody else. So the first question is, how long did Britney Spears' shortest marriage last? Now, that may be something that some people do know. I wouldn't know that. How many litres of vodka does the average Russian person drink each year? What is the fastest 100-metre time ever achieved by someone aged over 100 years old? So these are all questions which are pretty bizarre, pretty random, and yeah, it's like I say, it's a great leveler. So if you pull this out on Christmas Day or Boxing Day or some day, it's great because you can basically just sit around with a group of people and see how many guesses you can basically get from these. Some of them have some really interesting facts in there as well. A lot of these were all researched by people, so when they researched these were accurate answers. But I know, after playing this several times with family members and friends, people get quite heated about, well, what does that question actually mean? You know, that can't be true, surely. It is true, and don't call me surely. So I'm going to read some questions out, and I'll just give you a couple of more that aren't on the back of here. So another one is, in which year was the first email sent? Which app holds the record for the most first week downloads from the App Store? Now that one, that could be slightly out of date, to be fair, because there could be something else at this point. In total, which country has the most Michelin stars across its top restaurants? I guess that one. What percentage of people admit to having lied on their CV? So yeah, there we go. There's some cards. The answers are all on the back there. And yeah, you get a ton of questions in this. You are not going to be repeating this anytime soon. They also have a Christmas edition as well, which I fairly certain one of the Die Rollers has. I can't see it anywhere in the house, but I do have a couple of board games to get through. So yeah, so Shot in the Dark, fantastic quiz game to play at Christmas. So if you like quizzes, but you suck at them, it's a pretty good game. Everyone can have a laugh at. Often when we're doing work kind of quizzes, I will pull that out and we'll play that because, yeah, it's, you know, if someone's doing a sport round, this guy is in trouble. But if someone gets Shot in the Dark, I've got a better chance of actually just guessing stuff. So, what do I segue on to now? Let's segue on to what I can honestly say is probably the best family card game just ever. That's high praise indeed, I guess, or a quite bold statement. The game is called Happy Salmon. It's a fast-paced card game that gets everyone moving and laughing in under 2 minutes. It says so right here. the general idea of this is you've got a hand of 12 cards. You have to get rid of those 12 cards. The 12 cards consist of high fives, fish bump, which is a fist bump, but you're fishing this, or happy salmon. And a happy salmon is basically where you just change places with somebody. Simple. So you're high-fiving, fist bumping, changes places with people. You could explain that to a 4-year-old. They would get that. So you've got your 12 cards. They're a mixture of those different things. So high fives, fist bumps, and happy sounds. And what you do, you stand there in your little kind of circle of friends or family or both. And you shout out whatever the top card is. So if the top card is high five, you're going high five, high five, high five. And you're waiting for somebody else to be shouting back at you, high five, high five, high five. And when you're going high five and they're going high five, then you high five each other. And then you take that top card that said high five or high five and you chuck it away. You throw it away. It just goes into the ether. And then there's another game where you basically have to pick all these things up at the end of the game. But yeah, so you go on to the next one. Fist bump. You're asking for fist bumps. So basically the first person to get rid of their cards, they win. It takes about 5 minutes, if that. And it's really fun for all the family to do that. Add into that, once you've done that first thing of just shouting it out, then you do actions. So you go, high five, high five, high five. Hey Nick, good to see you. So yeah, high five, and you put the action. Fish bump, you do that. And happy salmon, you do this action here. So when you're shouting out the title and doing the action, that adds a little bit of extra fun. But the real fun for the pros, the experts out there, is when you don't do the shouting out of what it is. Hey, how you doing, Dominic? Good to see you. So when you are not doing the high five or fish bumps or happy sound, when you're not actually speaking them out loud, it is so much fun because you're looking around at everyone in your circle. This game plays up to 8 people, but you can get multiple copies or you can just, expand it out, whatever. So you're looking around and people there go, or the best, they're going, so that's fantastic. Actually, do you know what? I got this wrong because there's another one. Happy salmon, you just do this to each other. There's another one, which is this, where you swap positions. There we go. I just learned something. It's because it's not on the back of the box. I haven't played this since, I don't know, earlier on in the year, and I've played other games since then. Can you end up with no pair? So there is a chance. Good question there, Dominic. So yeah, there is a chance where you actually don't have a pair. You're there going high five, high five, high five, and nobody else has a high five. They're all fish bumps. They're all switches. They're all happy salmons or whatever you've got. Basically, if there's a chance there is nobody else who has that, you can basically just take that top card and put it at the bottom of your deck. This plays well with young children to older people, and I cannot wait to get to my 70-plus-year-old grandma to be playing that this year. She has no idea it's going to happen yet, but that's going to be fantastic fun. But yeah, happy salmon. If you are a parent or if you know of parents, this has to be in their collection. It is amazing fun. I believe also at the UK Games Expo, one year they tried to do a world record with the most amount of players doing happy salmon. I don't know whether they actually achieved it, but it was a time before I knew what happy salmon was. Otherwise, I would have happily joined in. And by the way, hello and welcome to everyone who's joining in. Thank you so much for joining. This is the first time I've ever done an Instagram, a YouTube live. I do Instagram lives all the time, but yeah, it's the first time I've done a YouTube live. So yeah, hello, welcome. I'm not going to be talking about Dungeon Saga Origins, Shadows of Brimstone, or many other things here. I'm literally just talking about stocking fillers that you can fill people's stockings up with this year at Christmas. So I've gone through Gladiator Road to Rome by Banks Games, The Mine by Coiled Spring Games, and Happy Salmon, which I believe is currently by Exploding Kittens, or whatever they call themselves. Next, we're going to go to another family party game, and I'm going to reach across this way, so excuse me for a moment. You get my good side. So this is called That Sound Game. There is a video up on the channel of me just explaining this game out, which is pretty dull to be fair. Me just going, this is a really fun party game. This is how you play it. Blah, blah, blah. You really need to see this in action. On the 27th of December, we're doing a couple of gameplay videos. We're doing some Shadows of Brimstone. I did say I wasn't going to talk about it, but there I am. And we're also going to be doing a couple of party games. We're going to be doing That Sound Game because it's much better when you have more than one person, and actually playing the game is fantastic. So the idea of this, anyone can grasp the concept of this. One little caveat: you must be willing to make a fool of yourself. This is this is on par with like charades, charades, or charades, depending on how you pronounce that from wherever you are. But with this, you basically get into teams. You have a dice which has various different colours on. You roll the dice, and then depending on which colour it is, you are going to be taking one of the subjects here, taking a card out, and you've got like a minute to do as many of these sounds as possible. And do you know what? This is like a copy that is unopened. I have a copy that is open up here. I'm going to dangerously try to get this copy down and give you an example of some of the cards that are in there. You will probably see my arse now, so that's always and you can see I'm wearing jeans as well, so I'm not just like naked from the, oh, you can see down there, fantastic. I'm going to get up now, try not to stare at my bum. I have a great filing system here for games. It's wherever it fits, it sits. So I'm going to give you an example of some of these cards in here and see if you can guess what the what the things are. You get scoreboard in here. You get rules, which honestly they're very simple stuff. You get like some player aids in there. Right, so let's find one. So let's say I roll the dice and I got pink, and that's the P's. Now this is like personalities and people, places, personas. Characters. You'll notice there is a little number down there which says how difficult this is. So this is worth 1 point, which means it's going to be fairly easy for you to guess what this is. And they range from 1 up to 3, where it's got really hard ones. There is also an X-rated version of this, which, like most NSFW things, it's cheeky, it's got some rude stuff, but unlike most other ones, the X-rated one is really racy. It's got stuff like orgasms in there, vibrators, dildo. It's got a ton of stuff in there, so it's not one to play with Granny unless Granny is a very cheeky grandma, as most grandmas can be. But yeah, it's not one to play with family, more friends, or if you've got like a weird relationship. I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna put the timer on and see how many I can get through in that time. And if you can guess what these sounds are, fantastic. The one rule here is I cannot use my hands for this. They have to be behind my back. But I am going to not have them behind my back because otherwise I can't pull these out. So let's put a sound timer there. You can't actually see that, but we're going. So, oh God. That's terrible. I'm going to go to the next one. If you guess that, fantastic. Make a comment on there. Okay, the next one. Sound like Jolly said Nick there, but there's more. Okay, that's not great. So these are personas, characters, people. I'll skip that one. God, these are really tricky. I am struggling. Okay, here's one. Don't. That might work. That's as much as I can do, guys. The time has run out. There's a couple there, but that is a really bad example of some of them. The P's are pretty hard when you get to stuff like nature sounds. So meep 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 meep. Animal of some kind. And finally, oh, that's tricky. Do you know what? It was Donald Duck and it was The Simpsons. So well done, Julie. I feel like we could get those. You can come around at Christmas to help me do this. Yeah, so you've basically got a ton of these cards that are in there, different kind of subjects. And yeah, it is pretty fun. It's easier if you can use your hands for it. So there are some kind of lifeline cards that you can pull out to actually enable somebody to have their hands out. And you can also steal other people's guesses and stuff. So if the other team can't quite get it, you can steal. And if you manage to get it correct, then you get points for it. If you fail, you don't get any points, and also you lose that steal card. But if you do guess it, you get to keep that steal card and keep going. It's a really fun party game at Christmas. They've done a couple of expansions, I think. But yeah, highly recommend it. It's only sounds, yes. It's that sound game, not that word game. So you do you're literally using Santa there. One of the ones was what was the category there? An action. No, an incident. That was it. An incident. And see if you can guess this from this. I'll let you think about that one. So that is That Sound Game, available from That Sound Game. You can find those guys on Instagram. I'll put links below to some of these games so you can find them out. But it's definitely one to get out of Christmas on Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day or whatever day you want to call it, depending on where in the world you are from. Okay, moving swiftly on. Let's go for a blast from the past. This is a game that's... so, I used to do theatre back in the day. I don't know whether it shows. Well, okay, so when your husband's driving and you're in the car too, so you're very close to what that would... what the incident I was trying to do is. It is related to a car and potentially how people feel in a car when the driving isn't especially steady. Or if you're reading maybe in a car. I'm giving too many hints at this point. Anyway, I used to do theatre with a bunch of really fun people when I was younger, and in the summers we'd go around each other's houses and we'd stay up doing those like things that teenagers did where you just stay up the whole night chatting away. And I guess what theatre kind of nerds would do would be like playing Whose Lines It Anyway, writing murder mystery evenings, just doing loads of really random stuff, and it was just really fun. We did have a card game back in the day which was just so much fun. Now this game is no longer in print that I'm aware of. I managed to get a copy of this on eBay. Other kind of platforms are available to get this, I believe. This is a game called Billionaire by Spears Games. And essentially in this game, what you're trying to do is you have got a hand of like about 8 cards, and they're all of different suits, and you're trying to get 7 of one suit. I'm fairly certain that this game is actually in the real world called Pit. So you could play this with just a suite of a suit of cards, just a regular deck of cards you could do this with. But yeah, in Billionaire, you've basically got commodities. You're trying to get 7 of one type of commodity before you shout Billionaire. And so you start off with like 8 cards in your hand with a mixture of these different commodities. So let's say you've got 2 oil, and oil's worth a certain amount of money at the end of the round. So if you can get 7 oil, you're going to get a ton of money, and it's whoever's got $1 billion at the end of the game wins. So you might be like, I've got 2 oil, I want to get, the rest of them want to be oil. So you want to get rid of some of your things like, let's say we've got 2 TV studios or something. So what you do is you take those 2 cards without showing anyone what it is, and you start shouting at people saying 2. So you're going 2, 2, 2, 2. And then somebody else there, they might have 2 oil they want to get rid of. And they might be going 2, 2, 2, 2. And because you're shouting 2 and they're shouting 2, then you can basically just swap those 2 over, have a look and go, oh great, I've got this oil. What normally happens is people are just getting rid of stuff that nobody else is wanting. So you give away like 2 TV studios, and you get 2 TV studios back. You're like, oh, for 5 minutes, I just try to get rid of that. And then partway through that round, you might be like, oh, people are giving these TV studios out. Maybe I just change tag. I don't go for oil, I change for TV studios. And then you give out the oil and hope nobody gets the oil before you get the TV studios. There's also 2 additional cards that go in the mix. One of them that basically gives you half the value of money that you win at the end of the round, and the other one doubles the amount of money you get at the end of the round. So, like I say, you can get a copy of this online somewhere. It's no longer in print, which is a real shame, because it's a really fun game. It's really simple to play. This one comes with paper money, which is something I can't remember the last time I actually saw paper money in a board game. Do they even make paper money anymore in board games? Let me know in the comments below. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, I don't know if they do. So it also comes with a pretty cool little briefcase here. And, you know, back in the day, you had to stick these stickers on yourself. They didn't come like this. So you open up this little suitcase, and inside, you've got all your kind of luggage there. Just a nice little fun. What's it? Food chain magnet. That's probably why that game costs so much, because all the paper money, all the trees they've killed to make paper money, and maybe that's the case. Thanks for that, Dominic. I didn't realise I've never played that because it always was a bit out of my price range. But I'm hoping maybe when I go to Aircon this year, maybe someone's going to bring a copy of that. Or maybe if anyone's at UK Games Expo, I'll be at both. if someone can bring over a copy of that and teach me how to play it, I'd be more than happy to give it a go. So back of the cards all have this kind of like money symbol on. So it looks like you've got like a suitcase full of cash. It's fantastic. Nice little kind of touches like that. Really, really add. If you've watched any of my content before, you know I absolutely love themes in games, like thematic games. So when they add little bits like that, I absolutely love it. Anyway, that's Billionaire. Do you know what? These games, we might put most of them onto the 27th of December. So you might see us playing this game. It's good in larger groups. Highly recommend it. Some of these I'll be bringing with me to Aircon if you want a bit of a party game and join it. And UK Games Expo as well. But Aircon's more about playing games. UK Games Expo is more about just meeting people and just getting like absolutely sidetracked by the amount of really cool stuff around. Can't wait to get some games on the table with you at UK. Yes, that'd be fantastic if you're there, Julie. I'd be more than happy to play multiple games with you, and you can kick my ass at all of them. I am not a very good winner of games, but I always enjoy playing them. Unless it's Horizon Zero Dawn, I really hated that game. It was ridiculous. Excellent. I will see you there. That's fantastic. So I spoke about Gladiator Road to Rome. I've spoken about that sound game, The Mind, Billionaire, and Happy Summon. Nick, yeah, it'd be fantastic to see you at Aircon, and I'll be bringing Shadows of Brimstone, so you're more than welcome to bring your young along and join in, or if it's just you, hop in. I'll be giving away some promos that Flying Frog sent me, so that's cool. Nothing amazing, but fun, like little additional cards that you can have to add to the steadily growing collection, should we say. Okay, so what else have I got? I also mentioned Shot in the Dark. So I've only got 3 games left? Yes, 3 games. If that's wrong, let me know, guys. If I miss one somehow, let me know. So I am blasting through this, which is fantastic. Next game I'm going to talk about is The Score. Now, this isn't going to be for everyone because you have to have a little bit of imagination for this. You have to have the energy to kind of play this game. It's very small. You get 18 cards in this, as well as like a couple of extra kind of expansion pack stuff. But this is basically, if you're looking for Ocean's 11 or any kind of heist movie, but a board game version of it, well, this is a card game version of that. You're going to be taking on personas from one of those kind of movies, and you're going to have a certain set of skills with an Irish accent, and you're going to be basically trying to complete a heist. And I'll give you a little example of how this works. We've not filmed this on the channel yet because I've been waiting to get the right people in the right mood to play this, but it will be on the channel at some point in the not too distant future. My favourite saying. But yeah, this is great. I played this with my kids quite a few times, and we've really enjoyed it. And I played it with some grown-ups when we were doing our Among Cultists day, where we were playing a few games of that. And yeah, it was very fun. We couldn't actually film it because it got a little inappropriate, but it was fun. So what happens to begin with, everyone takes a couple of these cards. So actually before that, you take 3 cards. At the very top of the card, you have what the kind of the objective of the heist is. So we've got jewelry, we've got weapons, and we've got stocks and bonds. So out of those 3, let's say we want to steal some jewelry. Okay, the Queen's diamonds. So the Queen of Antigua, if that's even a place or have royalty, I don't know. So the Queen of Antigua has some jewelry we're trying to get. Okay, and we then choose where we're getting those from. So we can get from a tomb or a ruin, we can get it from a remote island, or a skyscraper. We're going to go for skyscraper. Why not, guys? So the Queen of Antigua's diamonds are in a skyscraper somewhere, and a team has been assembled to break in there and try to get them out. Maybe it's going to stop a war from happening. Maybe these guys are just thieves. I don't know. You are going to decide that as you go through, because this is a storytelling game. So once you've done that, once you've got your 3 different things there, you're going to take that into your hand of 18 cards and shuffle those cards. And then depending on player count, you're going to give out about 3 to 4 cards each. Like I say, depending on player count. So let's say we've got 3 cards for each character. And there's 2 characters at the table, so there would be 4. Let's do that. So one character has breaking and entering as one of their abilities. And it tells you below what break and entry actually involves. So walls, windows, cases, safes, locks, you break them, you enter. Forgery, so you can mess around with documents, things like that. Signals, that's phones, TVs, radios, media, projection screens, you're on all of them. And fast talk, so you can basically face man your way out of situations. So that's one of our characters. We've got this really nice little pad here where we write down our name. So let's say this person, so they're kind of like fast talking, they're good with like signals, they're good with forgery, and break and entry. We're going to call them face man just because I'm just kind of spitballing here. So face man, we write face man in there. Target, jewelry in a skyscraper, the Queen of Antigua's diamonds, of course, and then my talents are, and then you write these 4 talents on. They then go to one side. And then if you're really getting involved, you draw a little picture of what you look like in here. And yeah, my kids and I absolutely love drawing some nice fun pictures for that. It's been great. So then we have another character. So let's say there's another person at the table, and their abilities are close combat, so martial arts and stuff, sleight of hand, disguise, and gunplay. So this one's more physical. It's kind of like, I don't know, think of a name. Someone else. Let's say Miss Scarlet, because board games, right? So out of those cards, they then get shuffled up with the rest of the cards you've got there. And then a couple of cards are removed from the deck. You're then going through 5 different acts, okay? So the first act, everything is going well in the score. Like in most of those kind of heist movies, the first act, you know, these guys are professionals and they plan this out. It's going really well. So basically, the first act, what's going to happen, you're going to draw cards from the deck. And if you get one of your cards, the person who has that ability is going to explain how they use fast talk. So let's say, for instance, we're trying to get in the skyscraper, we're trying to get the jewels, and at the very beginning, we've got, so this was for my first character, Faceman. So he fast talks his way past the guard, so he comes up to the guard. He doesn't want to know where Miss Scarlet is, but he's like, hey buddy, chats away to him. He manages to talk his way through. Normally I'd be a bit more eloquent with what I'm saying here, but I'm trying to be quick with this explanation. You draw the next card, and it's gunplay. So Miss Scarlet, she is actually on the roof, and the guards are all kind of like, they were waiting for someone to come in from the roof, but she was fine. She knew this was going to happen. She planned for this, so she shoots all of them with tranquilizer darts, and they're all knocked out. Next, we go into something which, let's say we get one that isn't in there. So hacking is in there. Because this is the first act and things are going to plan, we basically say, well, we decide why we didn't need to do hacking. Because hacking was something, there's no way we could have used hacking in this because the computer systems are impenetrable from the outside. There's no way hacking would work. So the first act, you're saying, you're getting cards coming out, you're saying, well, this was fine. I've got this covered. Or, well, we didn't need to use this because of this reason. However, like all good heist movies, things go different. Things go wrong. So in Acts 2 and 4, you're going to basically have those talents that you brought with you are used against you. So if you start gunplay, for instance, you pull out the guns you're trying to shoot, however, your gun jams. Or, however, they've all got shields or something. I don't know. But you're basically going through 5 acts. The very last act, you only have 2 cards in there. The last card you draw, if that was a card that one of your guys have, one of the talents you guys have, you complete the heist. If it is not, you failed. And that obviously sets up a sequel. But yeah, I can't recommend the score highly enough. It's a really good narrative, kind of cooperative game. You're sitting down, you're telling a story together, and it's just it's like a nice little size. They could honestly make like so many different movie types just using this kind of like format. It works really well. Like I say, we'll have this on the channel at some point in the not too distant future. My favourite catchphrase. But yeah, we will have it up there. Probably on the 27th of December we'll be filming this. So yeah, the new year we'll probably have this up at some point. Yeah, so that is the score. Highly recommend that. Tin Star Games, they sent us a review copy of that. And yeah, we're so thankful for that because honestly, it just plays so well. It's so much fun. Right, so I'm going to bring out one which actually I did bring to Aircon last year. And sorry, Nick, you said a great stocking filler game is Dungeon Mayhem. I've seen that. I have never played it. I think that's got a picture of a beholder on the front. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Only you know. And anyone else who's played Dungeon Mayhem. But I think that's like a quick paced dungeon crawl, maybe? I don't know, Nick. But yeah, I've not played that, but great shout out. I am going to ask if there's whilst I'm waffling on, guys, if there is any games you think are good stocking fillers for Christmas, then please put in the comments below, and I'll talk about them, or just, but well, I don't know what it is. But yeah, okay. So the next one is one I brought to Aircon last year. It was a big hit. It's called Psycho Killer. And if you can read this without thinking of the Talking Head song, then 10 points, because every time I get this out, I'm always like, Psycho Killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? You better. And then I carry on singing, and it's very frustrating for people playing the game with me. The general idea of this is you are in a forest, and your car's broken down somewhere, and you're kind of looking for help, but all you found were, well, a psycho killer. You and your friends basically have to get out of the forest. Now, the only problem we have here, yeah, trigger singing, it's a real problem, Julie. Glad it's not just me. You basically got to get out of the woods. Now, there's a deck of cards in here. You split it into two different piles. One pile is choosing to go left. One pile is choosing to go right. And yeah, you're just basically on your turn. You're either playing a card from your hand, which can help you out by skipping drawing a card, or you are drawing a card from one of the decks. And you get to choose every round if you're going left or if you're going right. As you're going through the game, you'll be picking up these cards which will, like I say, help you, hinder you. Some of these cards will be like weapon cards, which will do damage to your character. You keep these cards in your hand, and as they're in your hand, you're going to be trying to give them to other players as quickly as possible to get them out of your hand, because as soon as somebody draws a card from one of the decks that says Psycho Killer, qu'est-ce que c'est, then anyone who has weapon cards in their hands has to place that in front of them, and that counts as damage towards their character. At the end of the game, the person with the least amount of damage wins. So you're essentially just trying to shove as much damage on other people as possible. This is so much fun. If you play it with 2-player, it's okay. And 3-player, it's all right. We played this on the channel. You can actually find our video of it. If you play this at 6 players, chef's kiss, or board gamer's kiss. Yeah, we can play it at UK Game Next. So I'll definitely bring on you if you want it. It's so much fun. We'll get a couple of people with this, because honestly, when you play this 6-player, it's just hilarious fun. Yeah, it really shines with a higher play group. There is also some expansions for this, one which brings zombies into it, one which brings in a drinking game version of this as well. So I'll be driving to the UK Games Expo, so I won't be able to play that version, but I will certainly be hopefully walking to Aircon, so I'll be able to bring this along and try the drinking Bloody Mary, which is a fantastic name for a drinking game version of a horror-themed game. But yeah, Psycho Killer, great game, really fun, very easy. The theme's not going to be for everyone. As someone who enjoys horror movies, it kind of like, it really sings out to me. And the artwork on the box is really good, because it looks like an old VHS tape, which is pretty cool. Including, if you open it up, there's like a do not tape over on here. Okay, so I'm nearly at the end of my list of 10 games, and I know you're all very sad about that, I'm sure. We've been here for nearly 14 minutes talking at you. So here's the very last one. I really hate Cards Against Humanity. I feel like there's zero skill involved in it. I feel like it's very subjective. Like, you get a bunch of cards dealt to you, and the humour is, it all depends on the cards you've got, and you are at the whims of the cards that are dealt to you, as in life, I guess. So yeah, Cards Against Humanity, I really, it'll never be my collection. I absolutely loathe the game. It's just not fun. In the right kind of people, it can be amusing, but I feel that it's like mean-spirited, and yeah, it's just not for me. However, Someone Has Died, for me, is such a fun little game. The general idea here is one of you has to basically run the game, and you're playing an estate keeper for a character who has died. So the theme is a bit dark because someone's died. Everyone else at the table is basically trying to get whatever that fortune is at the will arbitration. So the estate keeper is basically running the whole thing, and then everyone else is trying to convince the estate keeper why they deserve the money or the fortune. Now I say fortune because this isn't necessarily you coming along and you're going to get millions of pounds. This could be it's completely up to the estate keeper. The estate keeper could say, well, the deceased, they left behind a substantial POG collection from the 1990s. It could be something that's completely worthless. It could be anything that your imagination entails. So at the very beginning of the game, you are dealt a couple of cards. You are given an identity card. You are given 2 backstory cards. And you are given a relationship card. So at the very first round, the estate keeper will ask everyone to introduce themselves. And they will use these 4 cards in their hands to basically come up with their who they are, their backstory, their relationship, and who they actually are. So for this one, let's go. Hi, my name's Tony Maloney. Okay, that's my name. Don't worry it up. Sure, I know the deceased. Why else am I here? I'm not gonna be here just trying to steal all these pucks for nothing. I know the guy. Me and him, we used to be in like the same role-playing group. It's pretty fun back in the day. I love rolling dice. It takes your minds off the perils of modern today. And I had a lot of trouble in my life really. For instance, you may notice I only have one arm. That's because I was in a shock attack. That's what happens. I got my arm ripped off, and it's that's why I only have one arm. Now you'll notice my other arm, the one good arm I got, which I'm using to shake at you here. The problem I have with this is I actually got a Hulk hand stuck on this arm. So yeah, I'm just chucking this around, and get in trouble. I'm doing that at people. They think I'm saying something, which in my line of work is really problematic because I'm a mafia boss. So you start off like that. You basically come up with a character off the top of your head, and you introduce yourself to the rest of the table. Then the next person goes. They say what they are, what their relationship is, and these relationships are really like tenuous. Like you're in the same role-playing group. It could be you were sitting next to them on an airplane. It can be you smashed into their car once. It could be you share the same birthday. That's your relationship to the person. And as the first round, you introduce yourself and you're saying why you deserve that money or whatever the fortune is. The next round is where the estate keeper gets to ask you some more information about your character, and you're given another backstory card, and you have to incorporate this into your story. So this backstory is constantly sucking on a helium balloon. So I would then have to carry on with the Tony Maloney character, but in a higher pitched voice, which can lead to hilarity at the table. Now I know in my droll English accent saying hilarity doesn't sound like it'd be very fun, but it actually quite is. Now, whilst this is going on, the other players at the table, they're not just sitting silent because they have objection cards. So there's a ton of objection cards that you are given. One of them is really damning. One of them basically says, oh, objection, you're the murderer. But basically what these objection cards are is you basically, while someone is talking, you'll say, objection! And then you reveal what your objection is. Now, whatever is on here is now fact. So if the objection on there was you owe the deceased $10, then they actually did owe the deceased $10, and they then have to incorporate that into whatever they're talking about, and basically say, like, oh yeah, I may have owed him like $10, but it's we're friends. That's what friends do. You loan each other money. That was me being a character with a constantly stuck in a helium balloon, who's a mafia boss, one-armed with Hulk hands, and he belonged to a role-playing group who owed the deceased $10. So you get these objection cards. They go in. And then the next round, what happens is basically the other people at the table, they get to ask questions of people at the table. So it should be that everyone after the first round has had a question asked by the estate keeper. The next round, everyone has asked each other questions. And then the final round, they get one last chance to basically say why they deserve it. And then the estate keeper basically sums up everybody's arguments and then decides if one single person should get that fortune or if it's divvied up between multiple people. The estate keeper can give out objection cards as much as they like, depending on how well people are role-playing the game. It's definitely one for people who enjoy playing characters at the table. I started this off by saying how much I hate Cards Against Humanity. This is very different very different to Cards Against Humanity, because Cards Against Humanity, you're not role-playing, or you're just, you got cards and you're just trying to make funny, fill in the blanks. It's apples to apples. Whereas this is a bit more involved. And so I guess it's an unfair, like, kind of comparison, but I just wanted to say how much I hate that game, if I'm honest. So that's my 10 games, guys. It only took me like 40, nearly 45 minutes to just waffle on at you guys about that. Tell me what games you have, which you would recommend for people to put in the stockings of their loved ones this Christmas. There's a couple of other good games to shout out. There's 20-second rule that was mentioned on the Instagram live. 20-second showdown, 20-second showdown, where you're in teams and you're basically trying to get through a bunch of different objectives in a certain amount of time. You have like this really cool like sound timer, which is yellow on one side, blue on the other side. You turn it to the yellow side, then the yellow team basically have to do an objective from a card. If they manage to do that, they flip it over, and then it's the other team, they have to do their thing. It's hilarious fun, it's really good. We played that as a family a couple of years ago. I got that, but it's now lost in the depths of traveling to and from where my wife is from. So it's tricky. But yeah, I guess that's it, guys. No one's got any recommendations for us out there. I'm just going to yammer on about Die Rollin whilst we're here, because why not? It's not like I've got anything better to do, fellas. Die Rollin's been going to Sea Salt Paper. Please do it. What is Sea Salt Paper? I think I've seen something about it, but I have not actually played it. And Kanar, you've either fell on your keyboard, or that is the name of the game. Bandits, Kabanga. I'm really showing my my true colours here because I've not played any of these games. It's really interesting because obviously I own a few games, as you can see behind me, but I haven't played a lot of games which some people would be really surprised about. It wasn't very. It was only very recently I played Power Grid, which is one of those games, you know, gamers of a certain age are supposed to have played. There's loads of other games I've not played, which you would expect a gamer to have played. But I guess most of my board games are have been from Kickstarter, or they're kind of like Ameritrash kind of games, which I don't feel really do very well in over here in England. They're not as popular. So I will teach you Sea Salt and Paper, Knar and Bandigo on bag. BGA, even better. Typos are worse, yes, never mind. Well, you got a lot going on, it's no problem. Nick, very nice game collection. Well, thank you, sir. I have, I've been building it up over the years. Spent a bit too much money than I should have done on some of this, but then you get sent review copies and you're not spending as much money on stuff, and then you can then move those on to other people to enjoy, which is part of the joy of doing content creation. Die Rollin, we've got some fun stuff coming up. I'm taking a bit of a break over December. Normally, guys, I'm creating content pretty much every week and then trying to edit it and get it up on the site. December's great because good old Will is doing an advent calendar, escape room advent calendar. So every day at about 5:30, you can see him struggle to get through 15 to 20 minutes of an advent calendar. And he's doing well so far. We're on day 5. Is it the 5th of December today? Day 5. But it just basically means I don't have to worry about trying to upload content, and I can just take a bit of a breather. In January, I've got a little bit of a personal appointment, so I'm going to be. I don't know how long I'm going to be out of action, so I don't know how regular Die Rollin content will be from the second week of January onwards. So I'm trying to get as much stuff scheduled and kind of in the pipeline. So anytime I'm actually out of action, people can still watch me playing with myself. So with that in mind though, Dungeon Saga Origins, I got the Kickstarter copy of that, and that's going to be up on the site this evening. So about 5 o'clock tonight, that's going to be up. So check that out. It's a really fun dungeon crawl, and if you are looking for comparisons between that and Hero Quest, we'll be doing a video on that. But spoilers, Dungeon Saga Origins is the only basic dungeon crawler you need. It is great. There's a few niggles with it, a few kind of missed opportunities, but honestly, it's fantastic. I think if you're looking for an entry-level dungeon crawler, don't look at Hero Quest, look at look at Dungeon Saga Origins. That's the one to beat for an entry-level dungeon crawler. You heard it first here. Probably not first here. Probably other people have said this. There's probably a better, more charismatic people out there who've said this to people. But yeah, so Dungeon Saga Origins will be up tonight at 5 o'clock. We also do have a Shadows of Brimstone solo by yours truly, which is in the edit, so that'll be up as well before Christmas, hopefully. And then, yeah, New Year, we're going to get back to Assassin's Creed. Once again, me playing with myself. And we've got a bunch of other videos coming out as well. So it just depends on how fast Will can get through his editing and go on to my editing, which is nice. We try and share out the editing quite a bit. If there's anything you'd like to see on Die Rolling, always feel free to get in touch with us, guys. We're more than happy to talk to you guys. I'm overly happy to talk to people because I love sharing the passion of board gaming and just generally have no friends in real life, so it's lovely to talk to like-minded people. I've mentioned several times I will be at Aircon this year. I will be at UK Games Expo. Fantastic. I've not been at UK Games Expo for several years. Like for the past 3 years, I've had to miss it due to family weddings. But I have carte blanche this year. I will be at UK Games Expo regardless. I've got so many brownie points kind of stocked up there, so I'll definitely be there this year. I cannot wait. It's literally 20 minutes away from my house, so yeah, I should be well rested and ready and able to go to that. Aircon this year though, Aircon, we went to it. Alex and myself, we drove up to it this year in March. Never been to it before. Absolutely blown away by Aircon. It was so much fun. Met a bunch of content creators who I've chatted to online for, even if it's just a hi here or there. That was fantastic. Met some really interesting people in the exhibitor area. But, we went along and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. It's all geared for gaming. You basically turn up, you bring some games up, and you can get random people come and play with you. We had a bunch of games we brought along with us, and a lot of people had turned up, but they were basically, they'd come in groups of people. So, some people had brought along Twilight Imperium, and they were there from the start of the day to the very end of the day when I left, and I was there for a long time. So it was just Alex and I just kind of sitting there, and we weren't quite sure how to get people involved, but we spotted straggling people walking past, and we were like, guys, come and join in the game. And we met some really nice people. Board Game Good from Instagram as well. Sushi was fantastic. And it was lovely as well. On the very last day, Alex and I were leaving. And a really lovely lady called Laura, who was helping, or like volunteering there, she basically spotted me and Alex and like, you guys do the Shadows of Brimstone content. And honestly, it was lovely to speak to people who've actually watched our content and don't absolutely hate it. So... or weren't pointing out all the terrible rules mistakes we have, which was lovely. When and where is the UK Games Expo? Good question, Stefan Adams. So UK Games Expo is always the first weekend of June, and that will be at the NEC in Birmingham. So yeah, it's really big. If it's the first expo you're going to, my advice to you, it might not be Stephen. You might be a seasoned hand at all this stuff. But I always recommend, if you go to UK Games Expo, it's the first time you've ever been, just take your time with it. Play games. The first time I went to the UK Games Expo, I went in. I was so overwhelmed by the sheer size of it that my introvert self, which is very rare, came out, and I basically didn't play like any games. I just kind of stood away. I looked at stuff and then just walked around. But yeah, play as many games as you can, and if you spot anyone wearing a Die Rollin t-shirt, which I have underneath my jumper here, I'll try not to expose any flesh. So you see me in my Die Rollin t-shirt, please come up and talk to me. I'm more than happy to chat to anybody about anything. Well, mainly board game related, but if you've got personal issues you want to chat to, I'm more than happy to. And yeah, we'll have a chat, and I can assist you in finding what you would like to do with your time there. But yeah, Julie, thank you for that. 31st of May to June 2nd is when it is. It's at the UK Game Expo at Birmingham NEC. It's having kids that leads to having not many friends. Haha, I never have a spare minute. Yeah, that's very true. When you got children, your time is taken up. But what joyous time that is. Time that you'll never get back, but in a good way. Yeah. Oh, going all sentimental now. Yes, fantastic. So Aircon is in March for anyone who wants to know. 14th to the 17th, I think it is. It's in Harrogate. We'll be driving up there and bringing a bunch of games with us. We're doing Shadows of Brimstone live play there, which I mentioned previously. You can basically come along. I think I'm actually going to create a unique scenario for this. So it should be pretty fun. We'll try and film some of it for the channel. I'm not sure we'll film the whole thing, but we might film some bits of it. But we got some free like promos sent to us from the Flying Frogs over in the people who make the game over in America. So they've sent a bunch of free promotional material. So we'll basically be giving that to anyone who comes along and plays a game with us. But yeah, if you are either of those things, please come and say hi to me. I absolutely love hanging out with people, playing board games, and just generally shooting the shit. Anyway, I've been the ever excitable Adam, and I've been chatting for nearly 56 minutes at this point. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me my first ever YouTube live, Instagram live. I'll be doing some more of these in the not too distant future. Nick has suggested that I talk about Nemesis. Was it Nemesis you said? Definitely Dungeon Saga Origins. And also, no, it wasn't Nemesis. It was Shadows of Brimstone, and it was like a buyer's guide to that, and also Dungeon Saga Origins, talking about my thoughts on that game so far. So yeah, I will be doing that. You'll be seeing some more videos like this on the channel where I'm basically going to be waxing lyrical about the pros and cons of some games I've got, some games I enjoy, some games I don't enjoy so much. And yeah, we'll just be carrying on with this. And now I'm going to very awkwardly sign this off and try and close this and hopefully not put my thumb all over the camera and stuff. So you see my arm reaching out there. I've been the ever excitable Adam. Until next time, guys, please stay safe. Thank you for joining me. Or Die Rollin.